we have launched our ICE participation is very good. Since last year, we have been doing joint ICEs, joint intergovernmental meetings, and this is really enriching the debate. So we have looked at the macroeconomic performances of both sub-region, and we look at not all variables, but some very interesting variables. Inflation, for instance. Inflation is touching both regions actually, and this is posing problem of purchasing power of the population, the households, and so it is a very preoccupying situation. How do we manage inflation? Are the monetary policies that are being adopted really effective? So we discussed that. And in terms of the sources of inflation, we also saw that in the first place, inflation has been driven by import products. But now it is more driven by local production. This is also worrisome. And the participants raised the issue of how do we support the local producers? Because otherwise, if what they produce is more costly than what comes from abroad, they may just disappear. So there is need to support them. So this is one key issue that was actually discussed. The issue of debt, okay? The burden of debt and the cost of repaying the debt. That issue also was raised. African countries are seeing an increase in the debt burden. This is coming from the various shocks that were registered in the recent years, starting with COVID, now the Ukraine war, and some climate shock as well. So several countries in both regions are in debt distress or are at risk to become in debt distress. And inflation is also playing a role in that, because due to inflation, developed countries have raised their interest rate. And this is making the cost of repayment of the debt high. In addition to that, because also of several factors, many of our countries have seen devaluation of their currency. This also, and since the debt is labeled in foreign currency, this is making repayment of debt also again very high. So we discussed this as well, and this brought us to one of the favorite subjects of ECA, which is the reform of international financial architecture. So we discussed also trade a little bit. We see that trade, intra-regional trade, is also different from one region to another. We see that it's much more important in Eastern Africa than in Central Africa. So we discussed that and how countries can collaborate to improve situation in both countries. So this is for basically the macroeconomic discussion that we had. Okay? Not only Africa needs to produce in quantity in order to be able to trade and promote regional, intra-regional trade, but quality is also important, because if you sell something to someone and it happened that quality is not good, they are not going to buy again. So quality can give you access to additional market or can bar you from accessing market. So quality is extremely important. Quality of the production is also important when it comes to food products. You know, it's important to be healthy. To be healthy, you need to have quality products. So we have discussed that, the sanitary and phytosanitary condition to have quality food. And another aspect of quality that was raised also is environmental aspect. The quality of the production process as well. Need to produce, need to feed everybody, but it has to be not at the cost of the environmental degradation. So this is the kind of thing that you discuss. And for that, you have different instruments, different processes that need to be put in place, such as certification, the norms, the labelings, those phytosanitary inspections, and yes, quality encompasses so many different processes that has been discussed and that we'll continue to discuss.